Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Yatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Bhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Dear friends, from Mission R.K., we are now announcing a great event to humanity. The event is a new era of education, a new mode of education, an education which will not develop the intellect but intuition. But this educating of intuition is not new, only it was not given for groups. Many gurus in India, many mystics and saints in all corners of the world and in all religions have been the participants in this inauguration of the intuitive age, the era where intuition is taught in colleges and universities. One of the most important, most practical, and highly active mode of education of intuition is given by my master, Pandit Sharma Acharya. He is also known as Vedamurti, the personification of all the three Vedas, and Taponishta, one who is established in tapas. I am not going to give you the names of his childhood, and also I am not going to give you any chronological aspect of his life. What I am going to present to you is the message what his life gives. You always remember that the intuitive knowledge, the yogic knowledge, is not given by any written words, but by a life which is lived according to those rules. The most important occasion or event in my Puja Gurudev's life, Pandit Sri Sharma Acharya, whom from now onwards I am going to refer as Puja Gurudev, got his first initiation into the spiritual life, the education system which is now going to rule the world very soon, in the manner of Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra, all of us know, Om Bhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. But what is new, or what is added in this initiation by Madan Mohan Malaviyaji, the architect of Benares Hindu University, a great patriot, is the addition of practicing Gayatri Mantra as Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu, we all know, is the milch cow which is supposed to reside in heavens and fulfill all our desires. So with Gayatri Mantra, Madan Mohan Malaviyaji gave Puja Gurudev a system of thinking, a system of meditation, a method of thinking and developing his mind so that Gayatri Mantra works both as a mantra and as a prayer also. Before going into the details, we should know the difference between a prayer and a mantra. A prayer is an aspiration, a desire of the seeker to achieve something. In the prayer, he mentions very clearly what he wants, what his aspirations are. And a mantra is a system of sounds, a combination of words, which molds the three bodies of the human being, namely the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body. Try to understand this difference and the role of Gayatri Mantra in the life of our Gurudev. When you chant the Gayatri Mantra, it is a prayer as well as a mantra. And again I repeat and repeat and repeat that mantra has nothing to do with any external situations or any devata or any ishtamurti. Mantra is just a combination of words which, when uttered, transforms your thinking process, your mental body, transforms your emotions, namely your desires, and then transforms your physical body to be able to convert your thoughts and emotions into deeds and actions. Always remember that when we say Rama Mantra, it doesn't relate with Rama, it relates with the Rama consciousness and his character. When you utter the Rama Mantra, your mind, emotions and body is converted into the likeness of Rama consciousness. Similarly, the Krishna Mantra. Now when we come to the Gayatri Mantra, it is a unique combination of both mantra as well as a prayer. First we come to the prayer aspect of it. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. May my physical, emotional and mental bodies Tat Savitur Varenyam be empowered by the great sun Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, who is the dispeller of ignorance and darkness, and Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodaya, let my actions be tuned to the development of evolution on this planet Earth as controlled and directed by the sun, the solar laws. And the mantric aspects, that means the change in consciousness. Bhur is the sound which changes our physical body. Bhuvaha is the sound which molds our emotions. Swaha is the sound which changes our thinking process. So when we utter Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, all the three planes get activated. And when we say Tat Savitur Varenyam, it is the heart center that gets activated. So when you say Tat Savitur Varenyam, you are praying to the sun god to be with me, come into my bloodstream and nourish my Annamaya Kosha. And when we say Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, the nervous system is purified, the nervous system is molded, the brain is molded, and our Manomaya Kosha gets activated. So by these two 8-letter words, Padas, Tat Savitur Varenyam, the Annamaya Kosha becomes activated through blood circulation, and the purified blood goes to the brain and activates the nervous system, the Manomaya Kosha, and this Annamaya and Manomaya Kosha activate the Pranamaya Kosha so that the speech, the words are converted into deeds. Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. So with this tripod system, the Tripada Gayatri, which changes our thoughts, emotions and speech. And when I say voice and speech, you just remember, I mean the activity that is related to the speech. When one says, if you hear my words, you will do good, that doesn't mean that just hearing is enough. Hearing means the activity also. So, this a relationship of Gayatri Mantra with the heart and the head, resulting in deeds, what in India is known as Mano, Vak, Kaya, Karma. Thought, Vak means words, and deeds. This Tripati, Pujya Gurudev practiced for 8 years, trying to transform himself, tuning himself to the solar logos, to the sun god, so that his energy, his rays filled him completely with their energy. Then, after 8 years of continuously doing this type of meditation of 5 malas of Gayatri per day, one day, in his 16th year, something miraculous happened. His Guru came in his inner vision. Pujya Sarveshwarananda Ji, whom all of we call as Param Gurudev or Dada Gurudev, appeared to him in the vision, and the first reaction of Pujya Gurudev was that it is an illusion, it is a Maya, it is a demon. But the vision comforted him, saying that this is not the first time that he is being guided by him. In his previous 3 births, first as Kabir Das in the 13th century, he was guided in the yoga of knowledge. As Kabir, he was very, very poignant in his attacks on the ritualistic aspects of Hindus. And he gave a great importance for the availability or the need of a guru. Kabir says, Guru Govind do khade, kake lagu paye, balihari guru apne, Govind diyo bataye. It seems that one day, on the door of the sadhaka's house, there was a knock. He opened, and he sees before him the Guru and the God, Govinda. Then the Shishya was in a dilemma, whom to go first. And then he bowed to the Guru, saying that it is because of you that I could realize that this is the God. So that spirit of the need of a Guru and the direction of a Guru was emphasized by Kabir. And he also criticized the scholars, the Pandits, those who talk about the Shastras, saying that Pothi Pothi Padmuva Hua na Pandit Koi, Dhai Akshar Prem Ka Padhe tu Pandit Koi. Reading books is not enough, but if you can know how to love, you can understand the real scholarship, the real divinity, says Kabir. After this, at about 17th century, at the time of Shivaji, Pujya Gurudev was born as Swami Ramdas, Samartha Guru Ramdas. And there, patriotism was his first insistence. He insisted that philosophy or religion has no meaning if you can't love your mother country. And he raised many Hanumat temples so that people can become strong enough to love their mother country. And then in the 19th century comes the marvelous avatar of Sri Rama Krishna Paramahamsa, who gave us the great patriotic saint Vivekananda. And as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the most important aspect that was stressed is to be in Bhava Mukha. That means you live in the threshold. You be in the world, but not of the world. One of the most important examples which Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives is, be like a boat in the ocean. You are in the ocean, but the water is not in you, not in the boat. So this is Bhava Mukha. And more technically, you can call it as always staying in the Kutastha or Agnya Chakra. This incarnation of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is the epitome of Bhakti Yoga. The incarnation of Samartha Ramdas is an epitome of Karma Yoga. And the incarnation of Kabir is an epitome of Jnana Yoga. So these three, the Jnana, Karma and Bhakti, came down in the form of Sri Pandita Sri Rama Sharma Acharya. And in this life, Guruji says that he could understand what Samarpana Yoga is. And all of you who are hearing this, remember this point, that just as Puja Gurudev's Guruji has told him that he was guiding him since the three births, Puja Gurudev Sri Ram Sharma Acharya is also guiding us from many of our lives. Many of us who are hearing these words must have been with him when he was as Kabir, or with him when he was as Samartha Guru Ramdas, or with him when he was Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. The Karmadi Devatas, the Dharmaraja, the Lords of Evolution have so planned that all of us who were with him in his previous incarnations have now born again to receive this splendid integral yoga system of Samarpana Yoga. The most fundamental and the only rule of Samarpana Yoga is that from this moment onwards, if you can, you take this sankalpa, what Guruji has done with his Param Guruji, that all my life is dedicated to you. All my activities are dedicated to you. I have no relationships with anybody but except with you. And whatever I am doing is doing as a service to you, as a responsibility that you have given to me, whether they are personal, that of family, or of society. So with this Samarpana Yoga, Puja Gurudev's Guru, Dada Gurudev, gave him three specific objectives and guidelines. The first one is completion of 24 lakh Gayatri Mantra Japa every year for a period of 24 years. Next, to light a Akhanda Jyoti, a lamp burning continuously night and day, year after year, till he lives, and it is still there in Shanti Kunj for all of us to see, which is burning since 80 years, the Akhanda Jyoti. And the third activity that Puja Gurudev was given was that of participating in the freedom struggle. These three conditions all of us also can fulfill in our personal lives. The first thing is, from this day onwards, let us decide on a very rigid, controlled, timed rhythm of asanas and pranayama, along with a specific fixed number of Gayatri Mantra Japa. Instead of Akhanda Jyoti, lighting a Akhanda Jyoti, let us perform the ritualistic yajnas and also the Jnana yajnas. The Jnana yajna is the most important thing which Puja Gurudev wants us to do. That is the dissemination, the distribution and the explanation of his writings to all of us who care to hear. And thirdly, and the most important thing is to take our family life, our personal life and social life, not as a responsibility, as a burden on us, but as an offering to our Gurudev. Because in our family and in our relationships, we will contact the required people, the selected people, the lucky people who are going to get this knowledge, this message of Puja Gurudev. As Gurudev was practicing all these three, Japa of Gayatri, the practice of Yajna as an eternal light, and his role as a Swayam Sevak, volunteer in the freedom struggle, he was influenced by Gandhiji, because Gandhiji at that time was known as a miracle worker. a great yogi with great powers. So he went to Gandhiji's ashram in Sabarmati and wanted to know the tricks, the yogic tricks, the powers, the siddhis. And there he was told by Gandhiji the real secret of siddhis. He was told that miracles are for children. The real miracle is to become a yogi, and a yogi is one who works whether small or a big thing, whatever is his work, a small work or a big work. He should do it with dedication, with great enthusiasm, and he should like it. And most important of all is that he should be responsible for what he does. So this feeling of responsibility is the secret of spiritual work. In our daily life, whether we are washing cups, washing dishes, or being a president of a country, we should feel these three most important aspects of yogic way of doing things. Namely, first of all, be responsible for what you are doing. Number two, you like and be enthusiastic of what you are doing. And most of all, do it in a dedicated sphere, dedicated work offered to your Guru. You are not working for the family, for the country, or for anybody, but you are working for your Guru. With these aspects, as Puja Gurudev started his early career as a sadhaka, he was called 4 times to Himalayas. This call of Himalayas is not exactly the physical expedition on Mount Himalayas. It is escalating or the expedition of our inner mountains, the greater heights of consciousness. In the first Himalaya expedition, Gurudev says that he was taught 3 things. First is, can he live alone? Next is, can he bear the vicissitudes of life and the seasons, the heat and cold? And thirdly, and the most important of all, is how he is supposed to work with his colleagues, especially with cruel animals. This Himalayan expedition, all of us can practice in our daily life. Even though we are with the family, even though we are in the society, let us always feel that we are alone as a soul. We should be like the silent watcher, as Ramana Maharshi said, with the Sakshi Bhava, that whatever we are doing just because it is our duty, it is our responsibility given by the evolutionary powers, by our gurus, and we have nothing to gain out of it or to lose out of it. So this spirit of being alone in the world is to be practiced. And the second point, whether you like it or not, sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail. But we should know that every failure is a stepping stone for success. This should not be a simple lip service, but a real understanding. Because when we go into the scientific aspects of any life or any goal, especially, for example, the scientists who are working and searching for the medicine for cancer are experimenting for many years, and they are failing. But each experiment that fails leads them nearer and nearer to the goal. So this equanimity, whether you succeed or lose, must be our spirit. And thirdly, being friendly with the animals, cruel animals. That is what Gurudev says he learnt in his first Himalayan yatra. Here also in our daily life we find many people obstructing our path. hindering our activities, hating us, belittling us, and the most important thing is we should be friendly with them. Just as Gurudev learned to be friendly with cruel animals, we should learn to be friendly with all, whether they do good to us or harm us. So this is the first Himalayan goal, the great heights to which we reach, which we should reach. First is be alone, though in the world. Second is be equanimity. And the third is love all. With this practice of the first Himalayan altitudes, Gurudev goes for the second Himalayan expedition. In the second Himalayan expedition, he was introduced to the great masters of the world. Mind you, all of them are living in their subtle and causal bodies in the Himalayas. And those who have the patience to undergo the required sadhana can see them all now. So in the second Himalayan expedition, Gurudev was given the responsibility of introducing the works of all the masters to the world. This he has given us as the thought revolution. And the most important aspect of thought revolution is you should live like a soul and not like a body. Many of us, even though we talk about spiritualism and gods and goddesses, are influenced by our daily life, are influenced by our physical activities. Whereas Pujya Gurudev, in his thought revolution, what is known as Vichara Kranti Abhiyan, says that you should live like a soul. All of your activities must be molded as if you are a soul. Think you are a soul, you are my disciple, and don't act like an individual or a family member or a professional working in your work or office. But always think that you are my disciple and you should behave individually in the family or in the society as my disciple. This is what he learned in the second expedition of Himalayas. And there in Mathura, he conducted 1,000 Kundi Yajna, where he invited all the spiritual masters of the past who are still alive in their subtle and causal bodies. And they came and they blessed him. And through their blessings, he developed the great Gayatri Parivar, which is now well known and has got its all-world GayatriParivar.org website. This Gayatri Parivar, as we can understand, wants to develop the right relationships through Gayatri Yajnas. The right relationship is what is missing now. People are living, but there is no relationship. There is only selfish interests. And this right relationship can be obtained by the ritualistic approach of Gayatri Yajna performed every week, or great Yajnas or Maha Yajnas performed by 108 Kundis or 1008 Kundis. But slowly people should know that the right relationship can only be acquired when you are related with your soul, with your Jivatma. Once you find your relationship with your Jivatma, automatically all the relationships outside will be corrected. This is the real Jnana Yajna for which Guruji calls us as thought revolution, the sacrifice of knowledge. He has written more than 3,600 books, and I invite all of the followers who are hearing this lecture to read them, to understand them, and to disseminate them. And the most important book or book triad that you should read is the Gayatri Mahavigyan, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. Make it a point to study it and organize classes of Gayatri Mahavigyan And if you are interested, you can get these classes in our Mission R.K. website. Slowly the work progressed. The thought revolution to Gayatri reached the mental plane. And if we work properly, very soon we can bring it to the physical plane. And if you don't work it, nature will take its own course. Slowly, Guruji was again called for the third time. And this time he was asked to form a nursery where he can plant the seedlings of all the masters of the world, of all the rishis. Just like we plant small plants in the nursery. And those who are interested can take it from the nursery and plant it wherever they want. Similarly, in Shant Kunj Haridwar, which is later converted into Gayatri Teeth and later into Shanti Kunj Academy, and now as the Vishwa Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, the great university, we find this nursery going into a great tree, sheltering the cultural needs of humanity. And then for the fourth time he was called to the Himalayas. And in this fourth time he was given a great job of fighting the Third World War alone in the higher planes. Puja Gurudev has definitely said that there will be no wars. That means no Third World War. The wars are there. Because he has taken the arduous responsibility of changing the world by practicing what is known as the Pancha Virabhadra Sadhana, changing the 5 tattvas of the world, the 5 elements of the world, the Prithvi Tattva, which controls the politicians, the Jala Tattva, which controls the business people, the Fire Tattva, the Agni Tattva, which controls the scientists, the Vayu Tattva, which controls the actors, and the Akasha Tattva, which controls the teachers. Puja Gurudev has taken the responsibility in his 4th Himalayan expedition to change the world's Pancha Tattva so that the Prapancha is changed. In this, the only other example of such type of Pancha Virabhadra Sadhana we find in the life of Kunti, where she gave the Pandavas through the agency of the gods so that the Mahabharata can be fought. And now is the time again when a great Mahabharata is being fought by the Panchatattvas, the 5 powers, as awakened by Puja Gurudev, and the Panchatattvas which are now misleading the world. This Panchavirabhadra Sadhana, as he was practicing, one day culminated in a vision. In the vision, Puja Gurudev saw a hand uplifted with 5 open fingers and is simply a word, Laksha. So what he saw in that vision is 5 fingers and a word. And now he found it very difficult to understand what it means. He mused over it for a few days and then came to the conclusion that it means that his disciples in the world, those who worked with him as Kabir, those who worked with him when he was Samadha Guru Ramdas, and those who worked with him when he was Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, are now to work in 5 great divisions. The first division is those who will offer an offering of 1 lakh Kundi Gayatri Yajnas. This he said we can give to him by regularly practicing a Gayatri Yajna on the birthdays and marriage days. Already he said that our power is in lakhs, and all of us practice this rule of following the birthday yajna, following the methodology he gave to perform and to follow the rules and regulations of a birthday yajna, very easily we can give him not only 1 lakh kundi yajnas, but more and probably 1 crore. This is the first target which all of you should have. So if you want to be the follower of Pujya Gurudev, the first condition you should yourself be confirmed is, the sankalpa which you should take is that you will do a Gayatri Yajna on your birthday and you will do a Gayatri Yajna on your marriage day with a minimum of 108 ahutis. The second lakh is that of training 1 lakh Yuga Shilpis. This word Yuga Shilpi has a very beautiful connotation. It is like molding the character of people. So Pujya Gurudev wants that there should be at least 1 lakh people out of his followers who are ready to mold their lives according to his way of living. And his way of living can be told in one simple sentence: whatever we do for our Guru. Nothing in this world binds us. And on this principle, one can mold his entire life basing on the Gayatri Mahavigyan and Gayatri Mantra Japa as given by Pujya Gurudev. So those who are hearing this may form their own groups of Yoga Shilpis who will practice Gayatri Mantra Japa and will read Gayatri Mahavigyan and mold their life accordingly. The third one he wanted is plantation of 1 lakh of Ashoka trees. If we can decide that if on every birthday of ours we will plant a tree, it may be Ashoka tree or any of the Panchavati trees of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. This will help us a lot, as you can understand, in removing the pollution. Trees are the best source of removing not only pollution, but trees are the best source of again bringing the devas and human beings into one bond. This is given a beautiful wording in Theosophical Society as the brotherhood of angels and men. So the plantation of trees not only removes the pollution, but also it helps us to bring an era where gods and men can again work together, as in the days of Arjuna and others. The next target of Gurudev is the most important target, which is known as formation of tirthas in 1 lakh villages. Tirtha is now a very misunderstood term. It has almost become a jolly trip. You go to a tirtha just to enjoy, or give some offering as if gods need your offering. So this tirtha aspect has to be understood as a place where you can jump off into the subtle and casual bodies. Tirtha means a shore from where you can go into the ocean. So because now that the tirthas have lost their importance, Pujya Gurudev wants to develop special tirthas, just as Puttaparthi and Shuddhi have become now the special tirthas. So you can understand now what we mean by Grama Tirthas. Just as a small village Puttaparthi has become a great tirtha because of such a site, because a small village Shirdi has become a great tirtha because of Shirdi site. We, if 1 lakh people can select each one village and convert that village into a tirtha, especially as Gayatri Tirtha, where the integral yoga, the yoga of heart and brain coming out as deeds, can be practiced. And if that village can become a source of power and knowledge and peace to humanity, Guruji's wish will be fulfilled in this regard. This is not very difficult, but it needs only a dedicated approach, understanding the totality of Puja Gurudev's life and implementing it on ourselves and staying in that village. And the last and most important thing is, what Guruji wanted is a time of 1 lakh years. He wanted people to donate their time, and he wanted 1 lakh years. To hear this seems to be an impossibility, but Puja Gurudev himself has given a calculation. He said, suppose a man gives 2 hours per day. So in 1 year, he gives about 700 years. 700 days. So in 1 year, a man gives 700 hours. You check the calculation. 2 hours per day. In 1 year, 700 hours. So in 1 year, a man is able to give 700 hours. We know that a man works for about 7 hours a day. So if you take 7 hours as a working day, it means 100 days. 700 hours divided by 700 days. And if a man takes this sankalpa in his 20th year and continues up to his 70th year, he gives about 12 years of his life for this work. And if about 8,000 people take such a dedication, in 12 years they can give 1 lakh years of time. But this means that all these 8,000 people for 12 years, every day should work for 2 hours with a well-planned, directed, executing policy. So these 5 targets is what Puja Gurudev wants from us. First is 1 lakh Kundis Gayatri Yajna. 1 lakh people deciding to formulate and mold their life and then influence others to mold their life. Third, the most important thing is the relationship between the Deva and human kingdom by planting the trees, either the Ashoka tree or the Panchavatis, one of the Panchavatis of Paramahamsa Ramakrishna. And then the last 2 are most important, the giving of 2 hours per day for 20 years and then staying in one place for 20 years and making that place a tirtha, a grama tirtha. With this background, when we try to understand how we are to go ahead in our daily life, we find that the first is we should have a surrendered life. Every moment of ours, we should be careful and aware whether we are doing this work for personal interest or as an offering to our Puja Gurudev. The second is we should read and practice about Gayatri Mantra. You should do Gayatri Mantra Japa and you should read a lot of Gayatri Mahavigyan, and after that, if possible, many of the books written by Puja Gurudev as a thought revolutionary agents. And then, if possible, stay in some village and you become a replica of Puja Gurudev, following his life in thought, words and deeds. And then, if you can, all of us who are hearing this, try to give at least 2 hours per day in studying his life, his literature and practicing them.